Good afternoon, YouTube. Well, you might as well say good evening because it's 11:52, heading straight for midnight. I am running completely late. I had a lot of work I had to do, but no excuses. I still needed to be able to do everything. My name is Anthony Wallace, and I'm from Cedar Hill, Texas. I am the Executive Administrator of PCDI Healthcare and Consultants of Texas, LLC. Again, we're located here in Cedar Hill, Texas. I wanted to go over healthcare communication with you guys. Um, my presentation will be very, very short. The presentation slides can be found on www.pcdiwg.com. It is our facilities website, and also this is a classroom project for Liberty University. I am a Master of Arts student now with them, and so excited, so pumped. I wanted to give you a few recommendations for healthcare communication. I will be reading from my trusty book also to keep me on point. I wanted to address healthcare communication because I've been in the healthcare field for over close to 20 years, and in many different fields, from emergency medicine to geriatrics to home care, you name it, I pretty much did it. I also did a few assignments in the research dealing with pharmacology, and I taught for a couple, about a semester or so with Corinthian colleges. Also dealing with surgical techniques, so I taught surgery and a couple things in surgery and how to intubate and emergency medicine and stuff. But that's all in the past. So, but again, sticking with the project, I tend sometimes to get off on different things. But healthcare communication is a very, very, very big part in helping patients and also understanding the essentials of the job. Not only it applies to the professional part of you or the workplace, but also the interpersonal part of you, interpersonal communication, meaning with family, friends, close people that are with you, people that you share secrets and stuff with. That is interpersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication, which is INTRA, deals with people outside your inner circle. It deals with people that are in your workplace that you don't hang out with, or a total stranger. That's what interpersonal communication. So again, it's different. Interpersonal is dealing with people inside your circle. Just remember, inside your circle, and intrapersonal is dealing with people outside your circle. So again, communication is a very, very big part in making sure that that you relate. You have a, to make the long story short, you have a sender and a receiver. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of it, I am the sender all the time instead of being the receiver. And senders actually are the one that's speaking, and the receiver is the one that's actually listening. To be the sender, effective communication is a big part in the whole process, because if you are, for example, if you are communicating with someone and you speak English and someone else on the other side speaks Spanish, that's not effective communication, right? Because they are not able to understand what you're saying. So sometimes when we're talking so fast and the other person is not catching all the information, it begins to become just like a foreign language. So it is always best to slow down, be precise, and say what you got to say. It helps out the other person a lot. Or if you're speaking in front of big groups, with sometimes I've tried that. I didn't like that. I guess because speaking in front of big people, especially important people, it makes you very nervous at first. But if you know what you're talking about, then you got it. I mean, that's effective communication, especially when the receiver which is the supposed to be the effective listener, can be able to understand everything that you're saying with full comprehension. That's just like, for instance, dissertation or thesis, oral defense. You may have 5 people in there that are top degrees. Usually they are people that have already finished their terminal degrees already. And they're spitting out all of these questions. It can also be committee interviews also. I'm sure some of you have had some of those, as I have. They're spitting out all these different questions about it, about your dissertation or your thesis. They know more about it, the subject, than you do. They have read your thesis or your dissertation from top to bottom. So it is best to be able to have the effective communication to relate to whoever is on your panel or whoever is in your presence. Because sometimes, you know, when people are in your presence, it's not by accident. So it's always good to be ready. I know that's totally off the chart there. But I have 3 books that I really, really, really like that has really blessed my socks off. The first one is Bridges and Not Walls, a book of interpersonal communication. This book has really, really helped me a lot in understanding interpersonal communication. Again, interpersonal in your circle, intrapersonal, INTRA, outside your circle. It goes over how to be able to communicate effectively with other people. What is the definition of interpersonal? It goes over how we can use communication to benefit us, negotiations, because, for example, I had a interview a while back ago with Stanford Brown, and I stood up and I was interviewing for a faculty position. And I stood up in front of the panel, and these are the Dean of Instructions, Dean of Academics, and the department chair, and some other important people, and also the other people that were interviewing for the job. I was actually competing against other RNs, a couple MDs that were trying to teach the courses. But anyway, to make the long story very short, I stood there. And my presentation was over herbology. So I sat there and I am giving my presentation, and all of a sudden my my caraway seeds just spilled all over the table. I was embarrassed, and I was trying my best to recuperate and get back into the flow, but, you know, I think the damage was really done at the time, and but I kept going. I stumbled over my words, but I kept going because I knew, regardless of how it was presented, I wanted to finish. I was just a medical assistant at the time, but I wanted to do more, and I wanted to teach. So I got out there and I did it. But unfortunately, I didn't get the job, but I did get praise from the panel, as no matter how my caraway seeds spilled all over the place, no matter how I was trying to pick them all up at the same time and talk and everything, I've made my mistakes, but I learned from that book of interpersonal communication. Now that I think all the way back, there is still a lot of work that I need to do. There's also another book called Listening, the Forgotten Skill. It goes over how we can use this book in business. It goes over how we listen. It goes over the different types of listening skills that we as people do. The barriers of listening. For example, let me give you a couple examples out of here. the myths of the listening. It gives also the perception, reception, and attention. The author in all of these books, including the other two books that I will give you the examples of, use analogies to relate a message. So they're trying to make it as easier as possible. Majority of the people that actually maybe study, within this human services may not understand some of the long word lingo. It's just like for the patients that come in to see the physicians or the practitioners, they may not be able to understand a long word or so, but it is always, and that's not effective communication right there. So effective communication is being on the patient level or being on the person's level that you're interacting with. For example, if a person is coming in for, um, let's say, a hysterectomy, which most people don't know, hysterectomy medical term is actually hysterectomy. So, otomy. So, I'm sorry. I am trying to get the words out. It's hysterecto, so that's 3 O's, ectomy, okay, which means to remove. So, yeah, it's just different words that can be broken down to where someone can be able to understand it. Our perception and our reception and attention, sometimes a person can talk for a long period of time, as I do sometimes, and and not only that, the person that's supposed to be the receiver, they're tuning you out, or they're listening but they're not effectively listening. But when I say a specific word, then all of a sudden it sparks something, and they are able to listen to that part of the message, but they missed all the other parts of that message, if that makes sense. There are also other parts, hearing what we want to hear, of course, when you ask for advice and the person is giving you the advice that you really, really do need, but you may not want to hear it. For example, if someone says, okay, I've been sick for 2 days, 2 or 3 days, and, but I don't have any insurance, I don't want to go to the doctor, whatever have you, but you say, yeah, you really, really do need to go get checked out. That's something they may not want to hear, but something they may want to hear is said, okay, well, you can go to Walgreens and go get Tylenol and take those, and you should be okay. My friend had that same disease or illness a while back ago, and she recovered. That's something that they will want to hear. Okay, biased listening, which means it's still the same. Person only wants to hear what they want to hear. They tune majority of your message out, and they go straight and enter in just like a target on what they want to hear. Also, the book is just really, really been a blessing. I really, just like the green flag words, that means go. So if a person is wanting to move from, that's example. I got many examples, so just sit back and relax and fasten your seatbelts. Okay. For someone that wants to move from one job to the next, if a job is paying you over $17.50 and you want to move to another job that's making $20 an hour, okay, if you've been with this job that's paying $17.50 for quite some time, why move to a brand new job that's just starting up? It just don't make any sense. If you are comfortable and happy here, but you want to move over there, but I guess the green flag word would be, no, I think you need to go ahead and go. Yeah, I think you'll make it. Go ahead. And, that's what the green flag word is. And that's sometimes what we look for, is that reformation and that green light to say, just go. But sometimes that a green flag word can be wrong. And you wind up going, for that example, going over to that job, and that job is just absolutely pure, it is just absolutely terrible. The environment is wrong. It's not therapeutic. Nobody listens. It's just everything you do not want it to be. And so that $17.50 job may not accept you back, you know. So as I use the same analogies here, I did tell the young lady, you know, as a reference that don't move, you know. Uh, Also, there are styles of listening which I like, which is the fakers, of course. They sit there and listen. You know, it's just like a husband sitting down to watch the game, and the wife is sitting there chatting away. You know, well, you know, Junior did this and blah 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 blah. Yes, dear. Yeah, you know, and you know, nothing just ain't going right at the nail place or whatever. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. That's a faker. You know, that's somebody that's not listening. But if you say, "Do you want another beer?" Yes, dear. You know, so you know that's what I call a faker. A dependent listener is more of a person that is dependent upon what you say. They totally forget what they are wanting and their feelings, but they're so in tune on what you say to where they totally forget the message. It's like, huh, what did you say? You know, so it's like that. And also we have the interpreter. The interpreter is a person that every time that you say something, then they say the same thing. You know, some people do get tired of it, but it's actually a theory, not a theory. I would say more, it's called mirroring. It's where if a person says that, you know, my husband been beating me, or, you know, or I just feel that things are just not going right, and you say, okay, I hear that you're saying that things are not going right for you. Is that correct? And the patient says, yes, you know, I mean, you know, you get me? Yeah, I get you. That's what mirroring is. But the interpreter is a person that just go overboard with it. Well, so take that same example. So you say your husband been beating you. Okay. And then she says, yeah, and things are just not going right. So, yeah, so things ain't going right, huh? And I just don't understand what is happening. What did I do to deserve this? Yeah, yeah. So you're saying that you don't know what you would do if, you know, you don't know why you deserve it. In other words, it's just repeating, and it will get on my nerve, you know. But overall, that's what that book is talking about. I really, really do like it. This book here, which is How to Solve the People Puzzle, it has been a true blessing, but some of it is very confusing. You know, IDIS, and it's mostly over a person's personality style. Okay, it was this doctor of theology that wrote this book, and he has a website called uniqueyou.com. It mostly goes over how a person's personality, how a person's action or behavior reflects their personality. And I could have gotten that wrong just saying that. I took the uniqueyou.com test, and I am a IS person. For those that don't know what it is, I do, again, have those slides available on the website, including in Liberty University's website. And it will interpret what D and what I and what S and what C means. Those are personality traits of a person. D is more aggressive. I is more inspiring. S is more sincere, and C is more cautious. There, you know, but it'll tell you more about it in the slides. So again, please review the slides before really continuing on with the program. But anyway, the personality blends are more than one trait or more than one personality. Like I said, mine was more IS. It stated, let me get it. It stated that I am more a sincere person. I'm more of an inspirer, an encourager, which I really, really do like that one. But it says I can be stubborn at sometimes. which I can too. Uh, when it comes up to it says stubborn, and it says I can be steady. So stubborn and steady. I just don't get it. But when it starts to say, that I really got to getting a good glimpse of it, because when it comes up to my art, which is the medical arts, when someone tells you that you're wrong or accusations, as I said before, clarification is different from accusations, because clarification, when someone asks you about something, we should be open as practitioners to explore the options, to teach, to educate, to prevent disparities. That's what the whole total job is, right? But when you have someone that's accusing you of something, then we all of a sudden go into a defense mode. Um, why? I feel that if you are going to question somebody's medical expertise, you better have good reason why. Um, that's any physician, that's any practitioner, that's any nurse, anybody, or even a cake baker. If you say that they, this tastes dry, or whatever, and they've been baking cakes for over 20 years, and you say this is the worst cake I ever had, you're darn right that cake baker is really the one to go down your throat, because they've been baking cakes for over 20 years and they ain't had no complaints until you came in there. So, so of course, it's, I'd say, again, accusations, totally need to be out of the window. But that's what I have to say about the situation. And the last we have, why don't we listen better? This has really been a true blessing to me. All the books have really been a true blessing, including the instruction that I've gotten there at Liberty University so far. Um, I really, really am so happy that I am there. When picking a Christian school, I really, really had to think about it, because I I love God truly, I do, but sometimes, like I say, my medical expertise comes up into play, and I start seeing things a totally different way. But these listening books have really, 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 really helped me to understand people a whole lot better. As this one here, which is the How to Solve the People puzzle, it goes over, pretty much why people do what they do. That's a quotation from that book, by the way. But it goes over why people do what they do. And, some things you can sum up and some things you just can't. People are just mean regardless. There's really nothing you can do about it. And some people are just super nice. But again, this why don't we listen better really puts analogies into practice as far as the flat brain syndrome, which flat brain, the author puts it as a person that really is just not a happy person. That's what I got out of it. It's not a happy person. It's a person that's in a box. And a person with no understanding for other people. He also goes over the stomach and the heart. The stomach is more of our feelings. You know how you get the butterflies in your stomach. He calls that stomach overload. Excuse me. He calls that stomach overload. And from that, your heart meets your stomach. So whatever your stomach is feeling at the time, your heart is doing the same. So your heart is more. It can be hard toward the situation, or it can be more softer. So if you have a gut feeling, that's the best way I can sum it up, is the stomach is more of a gut feeling. versus the heart is more how you display it or how you feel. So if you come across someone that you just really don't too much care for, of course your gut feeling may be, "Ah, I don't like this person," but your heart really feels it and it displays it right off. Sometimes we can, like from myself, um, we can feel that we don't really too much care for a person, or a person is really getting on our nerves, even though we are not saying it, but we're showing it. It's what they call a discrepancy, which is in this book. So a discrepancy is more, we're going to, uh, we're saying that we're angry, but we're saying that we're not angry, but we're showing that we are angry. We're showing that we're not sad, but we are sad. When you have someone that says, "Okay, well, I'm not sad about it," but they're crying about it, that's a feeling of discrepancy. Okay. I do have a video to accompany this also, which showed two nursing students and how they are communicating. It is so hilarious, but you have to see it. Oh well, I know my 10 minutes have totally went smack by. This computer is saying it's 26 minutes long. So like I said, I'm very long with it. So I'll just very much cut it short. My communication goals, the barriers, I guess from inner to exterior, the inner part of me will be more, the barriers of it will be thinking of other things, and sometimes I have a tendency to do that, where I have a bunch of things to do. Different offices are calling all at the same time. I got things at the airport I need to do. So as a person is talking to me, I have to really, 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 put things to the side. Most people would think I'm looking off, but when someone tells me something, that is going on medically, I tend to either close my eyes or kind of look off a little bit, because I'm visioning what is going on with my patient. I'm visioning what a person is feeling at the time, and that's my inner handicap, I should say. My exterior will be more, what's affecting on the outside. It could be too much noise pollution. It could be, another person talking to you all at the same time. And in that situation, you have to tune them out, or tell a person one at a time, so you can be able to concentrate and give your full attention to the person that actually is talking with you. In my case, to make a long story short, I know I'm at almost 30 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. A friend of mine, me and a friend went to lunch, and we ate at the Chinese food place. And I'm sitting there talking with her, and then it appeared that a woman was gasping for breath, or, choking. And before you know it, my attention just sped off to another person, sped off to that lady. And as my best friend is talking to me, I'm looking directly at that lady, because my attention totally went off her. I didn't realize I was still listening to both of them, because in the healthcare field, you learn to open one ear and pay attention to another event that's going on. It's a skill that you really, really, really have to learn at your most baby or infant stages of your career, because anything can happen. So you have to always be aware of your surroundings. My goals for effective communication is to become more humble. I'm already humble already, but and willing to help out anybody. I guess my customer service skills need a whole lot of attention, and that's why I thank God for these books. I have really, really learned a lot in listening and effective communication. I'm still having an issue with rude people. I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. But I'm learning as I go. the breakdown of technical terms. Sometimes I have to stop my own self and think about the technical terms and how I can be able to relate it. As I said before in the presentation, some physicians, naturopaths, homeopathic nurses tend to speak in these very long terms and Latin words, and some of the patients that we serve, especially the patients that I serve, do not have that ability, may not have that ability to understand what I'm talking about. So, and then we have to assess the educational level of our patients anyway. So you can't send a person that can't read home with instructions that are written. You have to send them home with verbal instructions, maybe from another person that's accompanying them to the hospital, or send them home with pictures. Okay, I need to open my ear gates a little more and learn to breathe a little more, to listen to the person that actually is relaying a message to me. I don't want to be a person that likes to overtalk. As you can see, I'm only supposed to have 10 minutes worth of talking time, and now it's 31 minutes and 12 seconds. So again, I just only got 2 more to go. And number 4 will be more to learn to challenge. Again, clarification is better than accusation. That's what I was trying to say before I totally forgot my own theory. So, so I would say, when someone approaches, and I thank God I've never had that to happen where a person accuses, well, yes, I have, in my earlier part of my career, where a person is wondering why I did what I did. I would say, it's bad. It depends on how it's approached, okay? And so that may make a person go defensive. When you get in that defensive mode, when a group or a person is begin to attack them, it can become a very hostile environment right away. Okay, and I will reward myself with a pat on my back, okay, for resolving the issues of effective communication and listening. Sometimes just listening to a person may treat a disease. Some people want to be heard. Some people have a lot of things on their shoulder and want to be able to vent just a little bit, and that will make them feel good. That's just like, for instance, if you are going to your employer and you had a lot of things going on, not only in your personal life, but in your professional life, it's just becoming too much. It is all, sometimes that employer just needs to just sit back, listen to the employee, and sometimes that's all that requires. That's all that may solve the situation. A solved conflict. When you have conflict between 2 employees, there are steps too in resolving an issue, but sometimes both just want to be heard. It could be the tiniest small, issue. Well, I feel upset because she got more paid than I did. Okay, even though she started first and you started last, that's the reason why. Or it could be a dime of a dollar more. So even though that may be a little more or a lot more, but still it could be something very small and petty to me, but it might be a major issue for them. Well, I will go ahead and end this. I was getting ready to say service, but I will go ahead and end this presentation. Again, the PowerPoint presentation is uploaded on PCDI Healthcare's website and also Liberty University's website. Take care and be in good health.